What up, everybody? You are here inside the Time Code Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Mimetic, and we have some very special guests with us in advance of our boat journey that we're going to be taking this Friday. We got some of the crew who we're going to be riding the boat with. We got some of the Music Art People crew. We got some of the Create crew here, and we're going to just talk about a few things related to creative space, related to sort of taking risks, and then related to sort of what to expect at the party on Friday. With no further ado, I'm just going to introduce the folks who are with me. We got Nick from Music Art People, we got PITHRA from Music Art People, and we got Valerie from the Create crew. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Yo, super excited for Friday. Gonna be a big one.
Yes, can't wait to be on the water with you all.
Yeah, man. So were any of you on the boat with us when we did this the last time? We did this, for those who may or may not recall, we did a boat party in 2017. That was like 9 years ago. Were any of you on the boat at that time?
No,
I was
not me.
Okay.
No, but I was remembering back 17 years ago, I played the boat, and it was exactly on Friday, August 21st. So it's a bit of a full circle moment. It was a Rhythm Works event with my buddy Akash. And so complete full
Shout out to
circle
Akash
moment.
Sinha.
Yeah, that's it. So super pumped to be back. Everything circles back, and it's such an amazing
I didn't
experience.
realize that we were on that astrological cycle back exactly the
Wild.
same date, day, etc.
I know. It's funny how time works.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, Val, I'm curious, we're partnering with music for this party. We're partnering with Music Art People. We're partnering with Create. This whole season, we've been partnering with different folks that we connect with in our community, different organizations. We started with Ashe Festival in May, and then we partnered with Apartment 613 in June, and then we partnered with Flavor Factory in July. And now this crew here, and very interested in what's going on with the Create crew. Can you share a little bit about like the collective and what you guys are doing in terms of taking a risk in opening new spaces for creativity in the city?
Yeah, thanks, Quinde. So we're a crew of 3 co-founders, myself, Chris Osler, and Gerald Dragon. And the 3 of us have been sort of dreaming and scheming for the past 4 years about how can we create more space in the city that brings together arts and activism, arts and social justice, just providing more like third places, bumping places, places where people can get creative, where people can network, meet new friends, meet new collaborators, that sort of thing. So yeah, this opportunity came up. This is our first location at 300 Sparks, and it came up thanks to Arts Ottawa. Big shout out to them and their
shout out to Arts Ottawa.
Yeah, and in collaboration with Hello Downtown BIA and Crown Property Management, there's this large, almost 4,000 square foot space that's been sitting vacant on Spark Street for at least 8-9 years. It used to be a restaurant, and the property management company just wanted to see something in it. And Arts Ottawa said, "We know people," so they connected us with them, and I guess the rest is history. We really had a very short turnaround time. We had about 3 weeks to get up and running. And so we've just sort of been flying since go, which was in July. So we've been open for about a month now. We managed to open mid-July. And what we have is a gallery on one side, and then the other side of the space is available for workshops, events, concerts, you name it. We get people coming in the doors with lots of ideas, and we're really open to collaborating and partnering with folks.
Yeah, that's super cool. And like, again, I should offer some full disclosure that like I also like, work with Arts Ottawa on a project related to cultural space, which is kind of how I knew about this. But also, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I just thought it was super cool to see folks, you know, jumping into vacant spaces and trying to turn them into spaces for connection, for creation, et cetera, or like unexpected spaces. And that's been a big part of our history at Timecode, is sort of like working in unexpected spaces or in different spaces where people can, then people are maybe accustomed to seeing that kind of cultural activity and making something happen there. So I think it's super inspiring what you guys are doing. Like, you know, can you talk a little bit about what has happened in this space so far? Like, you've had any of some of the artists that you've shown, or some of the collectives or artists that you've sort of like hosted there?
Yeah, so we partnered with with OBAC, the Ottawa Black Arts Collective, to find artists, and so we have about 12 artists in the space right now. I'd say about half were connections through OBAC, and then other artists came to us through different connections, particularly with like immigrant art spaces. So it's a really neat group of artists. I'd say emerging, up and coming, kind of local artists. Yeah, we have a button maker station set up so people can just come in and make buttons if they want. We had a concert at lunch. We're hoping to start a lunchtime around the water cooler concert series for folks. So we had Lena come in. She's from BC, actually, 5-time Juno nominated folk singer from BC, was passing through town. So we're just looking for other opportunities. We're going to be partnering with the folks at Chess Hive soon. They're going to do a 2-week residency with us. So they bring in chess, art, and DJs. So we'll be having, they'll be on site all day long, just either teaching people to play chess or playing chess with folks who are keen to do that. We're hoping to partner with local markets, perhaps an Indigenous market, or other local makers, and groups like environmental groups, activist groups. We had a zine making workshop.
Yeah, I popped in for that. I remember I caught that. Gerald was there helping to lead that.
Yeah, with Hasina. So those kind of things, we're really trying to just offer space to folks, doing work with a social conscience and a social edge, and making things beautiful, really.
That's cool. I mean, and I feel like that really aligns well with Music Art People, which is part of why we thought of you guys when we were putting this together. I know that Sizey actually DJ'd the opening of the Create Space. Shout out to Sizey. And so as we were thinking about sort of like a collaborative to pull together to do our last party, we thought about Music Art People because, one, we've had Jordan come and rock before, but never Nick and PITHRA, and we thought it would be rad to be able to get together that way. And then also, you guys have always been champions of sort of like a multi-arts experience, bringing folks together to sort of not just dance, but you guys usually have like live painters, this kind of like element going on in the work that you present. So like, I'm interested, like, firstly, for those of our audience, I don't think there are many in our audience who aren't familiar with Music Art People, but if there are folks who aren't familiar with Music Art People, break down a little bit of the history of the crew and sort of what you guys do, and how it sort of like relates or connects to maybe some of what Valerie was talking about with the Create Space.
Yeah, definitely great to connect, Valerie, and you guys are doing great work at Create. I've been educating myself on the organization, and really excited for this collab. So thanks, Gwende, for the intro, the kind words. Music Art People started with a meeting with myself and Nick and Jordan David. So we just had a jam, and we were thinking, hey, like, what would we like to see at music events? We're all DJs, we're all active, and we're curious, like, if I was to go to an event, what would I like to see? And the main themes that came up were music, art, and community, and hence the name Music Art People. And since the start, that's really been at the core of our mandate, is to incorporate different kinds of art with music in a fun, safe community setting. And in terms of art, we've had a variety of art. Mainly live painting is one of our staples that we always have. And then visual projections, decor. Sometimes we'll have interactive activations, community building, prompts, and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's been quite the journey. The collective started officially in 2026 was our first event. So we just had our 10-year anniversary last May. And
Yeah, you mean
fun
2016.
story.
You said hold up. You said the collective started in 2026. You mean 2016 and you had your 10th year anniversary in 2026. Let me correct
2016, yeah. I was looking at today's
you. Yeah.
dates.
He feels like it just started. It's like it's all a blur, right? 10 years goes quickly, but yeah, for 10 years, when we really resonate with that idea of doing events in different spaces. We've done coffee shops, art galleries. During the pandemic, we animated parks. We had a few different park jams where we brought the community out. We've done stuff at art galleries, something like NAC, or the nightclubs. And so, we jumped at the chance to be involved in the boat cruise because it's a great space to animate. You're moving around, you're really getting to see the beauty of the city. And it's awesome to kind of take it all in. What a way to finish summer. And yeah, great to collaborate. Timecode's been an institution. We love the things that Create are doing. Love that there's another space where people and artists can gather, because that's what we're all about, is kind of developing that ecosystem for artists. Because we looked around and we said, we know so many talented people. There's so many talented people in Ottawa who don't always get a chance to create or display their art. And so yeah, we really created Music Art People to be a conduit for that. And yeah, it's been a fun 10 years, and here's to another 10. We'll do another boat cruise in 10 years, and we'll
There
have a
we
few
go.
more gray hairs, but we'll be enjoying it.
And like, yeah, I mean,
Well,
and like all this sort of made me reflect. Oh, sorry, Pithra, go ahead.
I was just going to say, well said, Nick, but I also wanted to share a memory of mine. I moved to Ottawa in 2014, and one of the first events that I attended where I felt I was inspired in Ottawa was Timecode at Makerspace. And so a bit of
It's
a
so
time
funny.
travel there. Yeah,
It's funny you're gonna bring that
been,
up.
go ahead. There's a bit of delay. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna bring that up as sort of like, for me, when I think about, like, I mean, we started at the Airy Cafe in whatever Precedent Somerset, but when we got dislodged from that place, I think sort of like one of the next sort of unexpected spaces that we popped up was that warehouse. And it was like a great opportunity to just do something different. And in some ways it's not dissimilar from what's going on with Create, in that, like, that was like a temporary use of that space that the owner at the time, who we were friendly with, allowed us to sort of experiment with. And it turned into like a real moment for the city during that time period when we were working there and when that space was available. And it feels like what's going on with Create, like, you know what I'm saying, like, it could be a moment when if we can sort of, like, you know what I'm saying, support and sort of like help it to grow the right way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. I
totally.
mean, look, I'll be very straight with you guys. I'm right now on the Create Instagram page, and I'm reading a negative comment by somebody who's saying the space isn't being utilized to its fullest potential, and Ottawa needs to push boundaries and blah blah blah. But the reality is, it all starts with a seed. It all starts with initiative.
Yeah.
Somebody taking a step and making things happen. But people somehow expect that the day you open is the day you have a final product, quote unquote, and you're ready to go and it's perfect. But nothing in life is that way. Everything takes time, everything takes effort. And so, really grateful that Create and Arts Ottawa and all these organizations are taking risks and making moves. So thank you, Valerie and team.
Yeah, thanks, Petra. Yeah, it's, we're so people know too, like we're operating mostly on volunteer labor, and we're all doing this off the side of our desks. We were able for the month of July to hire someone at 13 hours a week, but that's still not a lot of time. And we haven't had time even to apply for any grants because, like I said, we got like 3 weeks notice and then we were rolling, right? So yeah, we are definitely, just putting things together as we can. And we love the energy of people coming in and saying, hey, like the other day I was there, someone popped in Thursday afternoon, was like, oh my gosh, I'm an event planner and this space is amazing. I can see like beanbag chairs over here and people knitting in this corner. And, she just started going off with all these ideas. And that's what we love to see. And that's what we're hoping to foster is just, come in, let's talk about how you can use the space and let's make it more accessible for folks. And I think too, I moved to Ottawa in 2004 and Timecode was sort of my, the first time I really felt like, oh yeah, like this city's got something going on and I want to be a part of it. And that was back when I was at the Airy Cafe, Quende, to your
Right.
point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, it's I think the idea of using underutilized spaces or using spaces in different ways for what they were intended for is, part of the vibe that we're trying to keep alive too. And
Yeah. And
hopefully there'll be more of these opportunities. This meanwhile space lease might not be available for a long time. We have an extension right now until the end of October, but we're kind of looking ahead and saying, okay, where can we go next?
Yeah. And how can this experience help you sort of like build up your capacity to do more of these things?
Exactly.
And that's what we're trying to do. That's a big part of what we're trying to do with this party is that like, all the profits we're sharing with the Create crew to help them sort of like, yeah, push this thing forward, recognizing that like they're doing cool work. They're doing it by taking risks. They're doing it sort of like off the volunteer muscle and the resources that they're able to put together. But, as folks who have been doing this for a long time, at Timecode, we felt like, oh, this is a cool opportunity to share, to demonstrate some solidarity with folks who are doing sort of like the good work that that some people have recognized us for doing. And so, yeah, we just thought like, this would be a fun opportunity to just get folks together, as you said, end the summer the right way and do it with a bit of a social purpose. Without getting too heavy handed with all of that. But yeah, recognizing that there's cool stuff happening in our community that we can support.
Mm-hmm. That's a great spirit in Ottawa too. I find like, we've really seen so many people come together to support this idea at Create. So like, you guys at Timecode, MUSIC.ART.PPL, like it's such an amazing collaboration. The Ottawa School of Art, is lending us their easels for the gallery. Wallix has been super supportive. I already mentioned Arts Ottawa. It just feels like people are just really coming together. And I do feel like that's also part of what makes Ottawa special is that, folks really come together and support different initiatives. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for all the folks that have, even just shared a positive comment or a good word. But it's just been a really great experience overall.
That's dope.
Yeah, and we definitely see this as a bit of a wider moment too. I'll just jump in. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a wider moment in Ottawa because, we're really sort of seeing the value of the arts. Obviously, we know COVID kind of put a bit of a slowdown on things, but, I think the last 2, 3 years, the government officials, but also the people themselves are seeing real value in arts, right? We look at a place like Montreal and we say, okay, why do we always have to drive 2 hours to go see our favorite musicians, and why are all our artists leaving for these places like Toronto and Montreal and beyond? And this is a time where we can say, hey, we've really built the infrastructure, and people who are coming to Ottawa are like, this is a really cool city. I had no idea. I've heard that quite a bit. So I think it's a real shifting time. You're seeing more spaces like Metcalf Plaza, more outdoor spaces, more festivals. just to trying to build up that and bring people back downtown and creates a great example. And just think about how many more unutilized spaces there are. And when we talk about, well, how do we get government workers to stay downtown and all this type of thing? Well, it's the creativity, it's the arts, it's go play a game of chess, it's go see a live singer. So, I think that we're part of a wider moment, and it's great to see the momentum in Ottawa. And I think collaboration is a big part of that. So hats off to you folks at Timecode for doing those collaborations, reaching out to us, keeping people sort of tied together, because oftentimes in the creative community, everyone's kind of doing their own thing. But, in a wider moment when we can kind of say, yeah, let's all come together. We've got Nuit Blanche. We've got the anniversary of the Bytown. We've got Capital Music Week. So much to look forward to in the fall as we get rolling. So, happy to be a little speck of dust on this moment, but happy to celebrate it with you all.
Bigger than a speck of dust for sure. But yeah, I mean, you make a great point that it's a moment where sort of certainly the downtown is trying to reinvent itself, and it's important that we as sort of the creative community demonstrate that we want to invest in ourselves, so that we can attract investment from others to make it all grow. And so yeah, that's a big part. That ethos is a big component of the way that we wanted to approach this. I was considering like a little game about sort of like favorite creative space and era in the city. We talked a little bit about that related to Timecode, but are there any other sort of creative spaces that you either want to like celebrate or mourn? There's one for sure. I'm not going to mention the Airy Cafe, but I'm on campus at Ottawa U all the time right now because I'm doing a residency at the Digital Arts Resource Center. And I pass by Cafe Nostalgica all the time, the new Cafe Nostalgica. But the old Cafe Nostalgica was also like a crazy vibe. And like that was the place where like the Soul Jazz Orchestra started, and like all these other like really interesting sort of like early Ottawa things started. And now there's still a Cafe Nostalgica there, but it's a new Cafe Nostalgica, which is very different. The old one was like a little house that had like a floor that was like sinking in, and like you couldn't even imagine how you could even get people into it. And yeah, it's just a funny thing to sort of like look at those two, go past Cafe Nostalgica now and like being kind of nostalgic for like the old Cafe Nostalgica. But you know what I'm saying? We love the progress, but it's just something that I remember in terms of like a creative space that was pretty seminal when I first came to Ottawa.
Yeah, no, I think we all kind of remember those spaces, like the Mercury lounges. I'm thinking about the arts court in the back there, that beautiful patio. A place like Helsinki was
the
always one
jail
of my
hostel.
faves too. The jail hostel, yeah,
Yes.
patio, right? But I also see it kind of living on in the spirit of the newer places. I see someone like Fareed over at City and Gridworks Annex,
For sure.
really carrying the tradition on. So I think
shout
there's
out to
always
those
sort of
guys.
that.
Shout out to those people who really have made it their business to keep all this stuff moving.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's everybody can only do what they can do, and I really see the spirit kind of living on in some of those places. And as a DJ who's been playing for 15, 20 years, it's pretty wild. And like I said, total full circle for me from 17 years ago. Probably one of my first sets there. So yeah, it's pretty wild to see the continuity, but it's also nice to see the sort of spirit that's sort of moving through. And we have such a huge opportunity here in Ottawa to really celebrate our artists. So hopefully everybody comes down on Friday. That's a good first step.
Yes.
Get your boat ticket. Get down there by 8:30, because I know those boats, they leave on time. They don't wait for nobody.
Boats do leave on time. This is the thing, when you're going on a boat, no one's too cool for the launch time. You can't pull up late, and there's no fashionably late with the boat. Everybody's got to be on the same cool level. We're all showing up at 8:30. You know what I'm saying? So that we can all get on the boat. 8:25. We're not showing up at 8:30. We're showing up before.
Unless you have a boat that's going to take you out to the boat, you're going to be in trouble.
Unless you can swim over, or you got a jet ski or something like that with a grappling hook, you got to be there, before 8:30.
That's hilarious. And can you get off? Like once you're on,
once you're on, you're on. You're committed to fun. You're committed to fun for 3 hours, and then we come back. And
Okay.
so
Yeah, you wouldn't
there's
want
like
to. I mean, it's such a beautiful tour that they do. You get some crazy views of the parliaments, like so many Instagrammable moments. Of course, the
many,
music's
yeah,
going to be great.
for those who do it for the gram, there will be plenty of opportunity for you. And you know what I'm saying? For those who are there to do it for the music, we've got that covered as well. We're going to be definitely taking it through eras, genres, generations, the whole shebang. Time code, music art, people experience. Very cool. Well, I don't know, Pithra, do you have any other sort of creative space memories from the 2014 era that you want to, any spaces you want to shout out before we shut this down?
Yeah, for sure. Shout outs are plenty. I would like to shout out Soto. That was one of the spots that was big for me in
I
terms of the
forgot
house
about that
music.
place.
Yeah. Soto really did introduce me to the house music scene in Ottawa, and of course Mercury Lounge, which Nick mentioned, and as well Babylon. Babylon was huge, for discovering
Great.
bands in Ottawa. And I remember Soul Jazz Orchestra had a residency there, maybe.
Yeah, they did a regular one. Them and DJ Zatar, they used to tear it down. You know what I'm saying? At least once every 3 months, they would be in there just ripping it.
Yeah, and also I think there was a Tribe Called Red residency at some point on Wednesdays or something like that.
No,
Um,
it was actually the same night as Time Code. Always, it was the third Friday of the month, and yeah, what was it called? Electric Powwow.
Yeah, I was going to mention that one. For me is one of those memories. That was such a good time. And, people were just there to dance. Like, it was like good vibes all around. You're just here to like shake it on the dance floor. It was awesome. Yeah.
and then of
Yeah,
There's,
course
agree.
honorary shout out to like places like Barrymore's.
yeah,
Ottawa's really missing that kind of size venue, that
yeah.
Well,
600 to
actually,
1,000 cap. Tell
oh,
me.
you make a good point. Sorry, I thought you were going to say bigger because I was going to mention that there's a venue opening tonight, which should be interesting to see sort of like how that plays out. But that's another
Oh yeah,
story
which
for another
venue?
episode.
Okay,
History.
other episode. History. Okay,
Yes.
Live Nation coming in hot.
It's
Yeah,
all
Coming in
history,
hot.
baby. It's all
we could go
history.
deep. We could go deep.
But yeah, no, that's a part of this moment too, and
It
sure it's going to
is.
be bigger acts and things like that, but it's going to trickle down. They're eventually going to need locals to fill this space and bring people out, right? After it has
and
its
and
sort
vice
of
versa. And vice
yeah,
versa. There's going to be locals who rise to the occasion. Like, Talk is going to be playing there in the fall. He's from Ottawa.
love it.
And so, that's a part of the moment too. I agree with you, Nick. Valley, you were going to say
So
something.
next year, let's do our time code map create at history.
Collab
Why
there.
not, right?
Okay, there we
Live Nation,
go.
you're
Going out.
watching this. Book us.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to mention House of Pain. Shout out to them.
Yes.
Like those Under the Bridge events were just
Yes.
amazing.
Bridge parties
Uh,
were legendary.
yeah.
Yeah, going
And
on
I
this
was
weekend. They're bringing it back.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's coming back. I was at one of their original after parties that was actually at Cafe Nostalgica Quende. So it was just like
Yeah.
now when I go into Cafe Nostalgica, I'm like wild. Like I don't know how we managed to like get people in here and have enough room to break on the floor. Like
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
intense. It was a great party. And like the folks at Peak are doing great work. And I don't know if you know of the Grove. It's another space that's really trying
Yes, the
to
Grove
bring together.
613, the new spot. I know Sizey does stuff there with them. Shout out to
Yeah,
Sizey again. But I know she's done some things at the Grove. So like, yeah, we're a little bit tapped in there, but it's great to see that growth as well.
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's nice to see a place like Cassette, which is up near IKEA.
For
Check
sure
that
on the
out if
West
people
End. I
don't
was
know
just there
it.
this weekend.
Yeah, check that out if people don't know it. That's an example of things stretching further. I remember Cafe Erie, I always used to think, wow, we can actually go dance and not be in the market. And so, as things stretch in Ottawa, we get bigger. Things are going to move a little bit further out, and that's great, right? We want that culture dipping in on the edges of the town.
yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
and Phono as well. Like they're doing great things, brand new on the scene too. And
Shout out to the homie Matthias. Full disclosure, I also, I help out with Phono as well. So, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Trying to keep it transparent with the people. But yes, we love Phono and all the work going on there. Shout out Matthias and the whole crew, man. So yeah, it's great to see it all growing at all different levels. You know what I'm saying? From folks like, you know what I'm saying, like bootstrapping it to you know what I'm saying, to folks who may be a little bit more established, to folks like Live Nation. You know what I'm saying, coming in. It's all
That's
a
it.
part
There's
of
room
it,
for
and
everybody.
like that's it. There's room for everybody, and like yeah, it's just about sort of making your space. And so, and maybe that's a good way to end it, about making our space. And
Love
like, you
it.
know what I'm saying, to that end, we hope you make some space in your schedule to come down and rock with us Friday 8:30. The boat leaves. Be there by 8. We gonna be rocking. I think it's 3-hour cruise, 8:30 to 11:30, and then you could even after party after that. You know what I'm saying? You could leave the boat, get on the dock, and hit another party on your way home. So you know what I'm saying? Just consider it. But
Pre-party,
on that,
exactly.
that's it.
keep
That's
it
it.
going. Keep it going.
On that note, we just want to thanks to the crew for coming through, recording with us, and we're gonna see everybody on the boat on Friday. So we will see you on the dance floor.
Yeah, can't wait to hit the yacht floor.
August 21st, baby. Let's go. Let's get nautical.
Peace, y'all.
Much love. Peace.